My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. Notice: intellectual property theft is particularly egregious and equally unlawful where the sole inventor and creator of the intellectual property is the targeted individual. Erica Lorraine Spencer, subject to the unconstitutional and inhumane government system of gang stalking, otherwise referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices, because of which the intellectual property created by the targeted individual, who is, in fact, Erica Lorraine Spencer, as the intellectual property also proves, serves to establish via evidence and expose the existence of criminal surveillance and thus an inherent threat posed by the U.S. government and the civilian population sharing engagement in the unlawful system. Such evidence, that includes all of the content created by Erica Lorraine Spencer, images, videos, audio, etc., belongs solely and entirely to Erica Lorraine Spencer only and is necessarily published online in order to protect her life, safety, and liberty as the targeted individual, who is also the intellectual property owner, no less protected from theft procured through targeting by a public entity. Theft of any intellectual property belonging to Erica Lorraine Spencer, which is necessarily committed while she, being both creator and inventor, remains oppressed by the public entity via criminal surveillance, is a criminal and inhumane means of infringement under all circumstances and not protected nor enforceable pursuant to any invalid or fraudulent acts of copyright, trademarks, patents, etc., including as it pertains to any ideas associated with or generated from the intellectual property or the intellectual property owner, Erica Lorraine Spencer, whether creative, business, or otherwise, nor does the intellectual property owner consent to any such means of infringement and theft. Erica Lorraine Spencer here. The following is an audio version of video evidence that is captured for purposes of mass distribution, which is why I am capturing it and sharing it on the podcast for evidentiary purposes and also to reveal the wealth of documentation that extends beyond what it is that I document on podcasts. Much of the video and images will be published onto the YouTube channel, the P.O.C, and it is also shared on the Google Drive. Again, this is for purposes of revealing what I remain subject to, which is federal group stalking and monitoring. It is a demonic system of state surveillance that the government is practicing in concert with the people of the state, and it should be known and well understood that for the government to engage in federal group stalking and monitoring, this is a crime that is committed with a criminal purpose to threaten the life of an American citizen. This is to conspire to murder and or permanently kidnap an American citizen while engaging in a perpetual sex offense in concert with the people of the state. HRNRFAM, gang stalking with minor children at the St. George Elementary School. So this is the reality regarding the very heavily reported pedophilia of the so-called Catholic Church. I just want to let you know The St. George Parish is a gang stalker. It's a corrupt institution / religious institution. And it is no mystery that young boys are being molested by those that are demon-possessed gang stalkers, possessed with the Jezebel spirit, having perverted sexual attraction to minor children, where they are gang stalking with their parents, with the government, with the people of the state that are surrounding with light activity, including the demon-possessed gang stalker that is Paul Leon, while the city of Ontario is stalking me in all of the municipality vehicles maintaining light. They're lining the perimeter, stalking in the path, while the airport is, again, maintaining ongoing perpetual presence, hovering throughout the entirety of the city, while the entity is maintaining that pattern of stalking with light. Mentally ill behavior, having access to children, gang stalking at the institutions, engaging in this demonic pattern of conduct, and it's no mystery when they're having sex with the young boys. I just want to connect those dots for you, because it is not, in fact, a mystery. This has been underway for a very long time. This is P.O.C. License plate 8ZLH696. This is D Street in Euclid, where I'm already documenting the Ontario Police Department, demons, gang members, facilitating and monitoring me to this gang conduct right here. This is terrorism. And underway, what is relevant? Minor children who are part of the domestic terrorism at a so-called Catholic institution. So I just want to be clear. Catholicism, religion, is no differentiate. It's another name. It's a synonym for demonic. Those who do not know Christ, those who have no ability whatsoever to resist what is Satan, the devil, who is possessing them while they're engaging in criminal activity, which I'm going to prosecute for. This is Chaffey Joint Union High School. This is light activity. License 1548540. No surprise when they're having sex and molesting minor children. They're gang stalking with them. They're gang stalking American citizens while in those positions where they pose a threat to children. This is P.O.C. And the airport is stalking. Okay, this is D Street, D as in dog. So you're talking about continuing going north to get back up to F Street, where they're hovering next to me at the bus stop. Stalking as I'm walking through the neighborhood. And guess who else is stalking? All the people of the state. These are monitoring spirits that live throughout the city, stalking in the path in the driveway. These are demons that are not strategic or tactical. Very obvious. And you already know that the entity is keeping the fake sun over me. This is the P.O.C. Stalking with light is a conduct of that population that is mentally ill, certifiable conduct, and they will be prosecuted accordingly. It is currently 7:38 a.m. This is P.O.C. Let's go ahead and end with this third party. Minor children, psychopath, 9VOD600, psychopath, 9RAM782. They're stalking. That's the reality. Children in the back seat, demons, conspiring murder, P.O.C. Alrighty, it is currently 7:46 a.m. It's documenting the entity of the mentally ill that are, again, you are witnessing what is actually publicly what is the mental and psychological breakdown of the mentally ill who have been maintaining what is a secret means of expressing violence, inflicting harm, and while it is exposed, while they are being documented, while they're being identified, while they're experiencing a prosecution, the entity is literally, while they're engaging in the criminal activity, and the way in which they're doing so, as you're analyzing it, you are simultaneously witnessing what is the psychological breakdown of those who have been mentally ill for a very long time. The demon-possessed that are facing what is this inevitable demise regarding prosecution, but also regarding the plethora of consequences or repercussions behind gang violence, federal group stalking and monitoring. So that's what I'm documenting. License 78JF388. 388, 5ERN 962, 8BFP294. The people of the state are psychotic, okay? Remember, the reality is that it is not traffic that I'm surrounded by. These are stalkers, and this includes greeting in the alley, minor child in the passenger seat with a woman while stalking another woman. These are demons that are conspiring murder together as a family of psychopaths, 9NLM891. They're doing so at what is Vesta and Vine, under the fake sun, with the psychopaths that are the people of the state, maintaining presence in the path. The lying in wait conduct, while you're also clutching children. You need to understand that these are the demon-possessed that engage in violence against women and children while maintaining families. This is what Satan is doing. A serial killer is one that is lying in wait, and this is with regard to the demon-possessed that engage in that violence that perhaps has never occurred before with that person. So there's no pre-existing criminal record. There are no quote-unquote indications, but yes, there are. The P.O.C. is showing you the specific environment where the demon-possessed dwell and what they're doing. They're monitoring. And then they engage in what are acts of violence that you see on the news. 6 FUL 581, with or without a criminal record. While they have a family, 2 toddler children, that they go out engaging in criminal monitoring every day as a way of life. And then they murder their wife and their kids. Or the husband and wife kill their kids together. Or they're engaging in what is routine sexual activity, trafficking their children. Or they're engaging in what is grabbing all the weapons that they have, keeping their kids in the vehicle and shooting down as many people as they can before they kill themselves and their children. This is what the demon-possessed that are gang stalking are engaged in. You've seen it on the news. This is what they're capable of. This is what is residing in them. This is what is wrong with the mindset of those who are engaging in the pattern of conduct. 8U6668 P.O.C. These are demons that are lying in wait. So as I persist walking, then you have a family of demons. A minor child in the front seat, which is illegal, but nonetheless, so is gang stalking. And then a minor child in the background, in the back seat. And this is a male operating the vehicle with a female counterpart and their 2 kids, and they're gang stalking as a family. And I just want to be clear that they're demons, and so are their children. 5TKK106. License plate, you'll see in the documentation, the City of Ontario is always stalking, but the City of Ontario is stalking. These are psychopaths that are exhibiting that mental illness while they're stalking me on the roads and the highways as I walk through the neighborhood with the dumpster trucks. You'll see me capturing corner after corner. The entity, it's not based on the trash schedule. It's based on the evidence of what is stalking with Impossible Light, stalking under the fake sun, stalking with the airport. 9SDP185, they're engaging in stalking on the roads and the highways as I am traveling, and the evidence of the fake sun and the engineer light confirms that. 7JTH648, sex offenders over and under majority, stalking with Impossible Light. 7GYU240, 5TBA645, 9MUZ501, 9TVZ781, and the current time is 7:50 a.m. And so while the entity has been engaging in the chicanery, which I documented as a matter of evidence in order to prosecute corrupt businesses like the Ontario Village Shopping Center, every village in there, where I'm showing you during the 7 a.m. hour, the fake sun is over me at the entrance. And that's impossible to coexist with what I'm documenting now, with where the environment where the demon-possessed are operating dumpster trucks who are stalking in furtherance of murder. Doing so with 8SAR492, you have what are sex offenders that are in custody of minor children, like that third party. 9TTA617, who are going about stalking a woman while they're in the midst of what are doing what the family does every morning, dropping the kids off at the gang stalking institution, engaging what is a little gang stalking in furtherance of murder with the government that's stalking an airport. Stalking as an airport and stalking as a citywide effort where they live as well, and maintaining a whole engineered environment where the demon-possessed are engaging in surveillance as I am crossing path and I'm subject to that pattern of conduct. No strangers. 7VOG574, the demon-possessed are not strangers to you. The demon-possessed are keeping you under surveillance. And the demon-possessed are remaining poised in a position to do harm to themselves, to each other, and to you. And that's what you are understanding with regard to gang stalking. These are license plates that are engaging in stalking, not the mere coincidental crossing of path conduct, which is occurring ignorantly in that specific environment while that government's engaging in that very clear and open means of targeting. You're applying that same evidence that they provide. 8UPD172 is also stalking with that same level of desperation, that same level of obsession. Okay, keeping your face in the opposite direction, putting your cell phone to the side of your face and cheesing and laughing at the top of your lungs. There's psychopaths that are stalking with the same obsession, the same impunity. They're poor actors who rely on the illusion that you were formerly deceived by and you're not anymore. Because the hardcore facts is what are putting psychopaths, because that's what those are. Psychopaths that think the expression on their face or the color of their vehicle or how many kids are in their hands or around them, 9JMG097, is going to avert being identified as a domestic terrorist, a demon, a stalker, a psychopath. And it is not. In fact, it's relevant evidence regarding all the ways they pose a threat to the public while they are exactly what the evidence shows that they are. 9TVZ781, and the fake sun is not over any Stater brothers, like I'm documenting on video, okay, where the entity is maintaining the same level of stalking in the air, in the airspace under what is a fake sun that's creating impossible light activity, right? So I'm using those terms because it obviously is incorrect. No fake sun is causing any light activity. You are breaking apart the illusion. There's the fake sun in the sky space, an indicator regarding surveillance by everyone around, and it's also a bullseye regarding who is to be prosecuted and who is also being targeted. Not only that, the entity is engaging in the pattern of conduct where the engineer light that you see doesn't even make any sense. It does not coincide with the placement of the light source or what the sun does or what sunlight does and what sunlight is capable of doing, where sunlight is going to just appear out of nowhere, like on the inside of a grocery store on the ceiling. Okay, that has nothing to do with what is indeed the fake sun as well. You're breaking apart that illusion. And you're also recognizing the centrality of this engineered light. And who's engaged in that? Demons. 9 BUD 281, stalking. 9 VAJ 568, stalking. Okay, this is the entity that's doing so through the neighborhood. And the government exposes the entirety of that entity while they are obsessed, psychopaths, having a real-time and documented psychological breakdown, meaning they engage in more and more aggressive stalking tactics, meaning you're at every corner, you're surrounding me with a gang of dumpster trucks while you are monitoring my documentation. The entity is exposing itself, and you're exposing everybody else. Like third-party license plate, 9FPU 941, you're not an exception to that P.O.C. You're engaged in the same exact pattern of conduct. The entity is hovering over this neighborhood while I'm walking on Vesta. The entity is hovering over the neighborhood while I'm walking along D Street. I captured that on video. Or the Catholic school where children are at risk while they're not only gang stalking, their parents are sex offenders, gang stalking, conspiring murder. They include children in that act of terrorism with the government that is stalking by commercial planes and the city of Ontario. Removing this demon, Paul Leon, based on the ongoing criminal surveillance and conspiracy to murder me, while every means of the city of Ontario, including these demons that are paid to empty the dumpsters, are stalking with light and stalking on the roads and the highways in violation of Title 18. 8 FTC 056, and exhibiting severe mental instability in doing so. Severe, okay? And it's not different, it's not distinct, it's just that those mentally ill demons are driving dumpster trucks, still stalking with light. All right, that's audible activity. License 62279W3. License 78JN723. And this is the reality of the entity that is stalking in all the ways in which I've shown you the demon possessed are stalking. 8GRA601. Vesta del Rosa is an apartment complex at Bonita and Vesta, and they're stalking as an apartment complex. 559. 559. What is that? West Vesta? Yeah, 559 West Vesta. And I've documented them, and they're monitoring now. So this is 04545X2 at Bonita and Vesta, the intersection where the entity has the fake sun. And don't forget, on video, you've seen the entity that is gang stalking me at this intersection, the fake sun being over the house at the corner. I've captured it at all times of day, and I've captured the fake moon over me at this same intersection when you're looking at what is criminal surveillance and the unintelligent demon-possessed who are severely mentally ill and are no longer capable of controlling it and containing it. 6SPS062, and it's a threat to the public. It's even a threat to the demon-possessed children that they give birth to. 8KPS143. Remember, children are not choosing to be born to demons and witches and murderers and rapists. They don't choose that. They're born, and they are born in that condition. So they are predisposed to engaging in what is this demonic pattern of conduct, but it's not an excuse for the government that's engaged in criminal conduct, public corruption. They just so happen to be demons. I'm not going to prosecute you because you're a demon. I'm going to prosecute you because your demonic pattern of conduct is terrorism, and it's equally unlawful. License 93138 Uncle 2, Sunrise. Is gang stalking under the fake sunrise that's remaining over me as I'm on Vesta. 9DHG589. That's a commercial actor. Not that license plate. That's a third-party license plate right here. The sunrise is a commercial actor, and the demon operating that vehicle is a third party operating a commercial means of stalking, which you're going to prosecute. License 5VQA201. There's no sun that's simultaneously over. This is the entity. They're already surrounded with evidence. I'm at the Coin Laundry at the Ontario Village Shopping Center while you're keeping the fake sun over me at the Ontario Airport and over the bus stop at the Ontario Town Square, while I'm at the Downtown Ontario Luxury Apartments parking garage, while I am
aboard Omnitrans, all the matter of the documentation. And as I walk to this venue where the entity is keeping a fake sun while I'm already here in the middle of the afternoon, this is where you're recognizing this is nothing other than, again, the entity's illusion that has served to expose them as being severely mentally ill. What I stated before, I gave you a body of evidence proving what it is that I already know about them. Okay, and what you need to know based on my documentation is that this is a threat to the public. It's a national security threat because psychopaths are clearly stalking me and they are engaging in what are harming American citizens. They don't have accidents. They're monitoring spirits who engage in acts of terrorism. They derive pleasure out of murdering people. Acts of terrorism, and they do so with regard to your ignorance about criminal surveillance. That they're targeting, 8NKZ327, that they're monitoring your vagina, your genitalia in other words, and that they're also engaged in what is intentionally harming themselves and other people while they are put in positions that they are unfit, as my evidence shows, the mentally ill that are in possession of pilot licensures, airlines that are unfit to operate based on the threat that they pose to the public, 7PVC850, every gang stalking airline, for example, with the City of Ontario, 6NYE846, 9LGJ845. And gang stalking airlines are directly indicative of what is a corrupt city that's sharing in the pattern of conduct. Who are flying the planes? Nothing other than the people of the state that are in a position to do so. Okay, the entity's engaging in that pattern of conduct, and I just want to be clear as I'm walking through the neighborhood, this is the lawlessness that is relevant to what is martial law, which is unfortunate because martial law is basically the highest form of basically the militarization of, and it's by necessity because of the lawlessness, because of what the un-American, the unlawful, the untrustworthiness of literally the government. And not only has the City of Ontario, the state of California demonstrated a need for it, an unprecedented need for it, because federal group stalking and monitoring, the reality of criminal surveillance, the inevitable exposure of deeply embedded public corruption, you're talking about what is the need for martial law being one of the most extreme means, if not the extreme means, the most extreme means of seeking to contain what is the lawlessness of a people. All right, and so you're talking about what is relevant, though, because this is what the entity has been doing to American citizens, but it's illegal. All right, so they're keeping American citizens targeted. They're essentially living in a bubble, and ironically, the entity that's engaged in that has manifested, if you will, the demon possessed that engaged in that wicked doctrine. But what it is that's manifesting for them is that they're going to be treated under martial law like the animals, the barbarians, the untrustworthy criminals that they are. All right, you're not going to be just able to just go to the grocery store and gang stalk somebody free willy, and you're also not going to be looked at as anything other than what you are, the threat that the entity demonstrated that it is. Remember, we're beyond proving. Everybody knows. Everybody knows. Without contrary, everyone already knows what's going on here, okay? So you're looking at them just engaging in stalking and ongoing harassment. They're looking forward to prison. They're looking forward to poverty, homelessness. They're looking forward to loss of position in office. They're looking forward to losing their career altogether. They're looking forward to deportation. They're losing their family. They're losing their benefits, all the ways in which this entity is going to be prosecuted, right? They're looking forward to that. They know it. And not only that, they're demons. They practice witchcraft. They are engaged in divination. So they are aware of this. And they're engaging in it based on what is that entity's mindset. Well, it's already happening. So, and they're angry at me because I'm the one that exposed it. These are psychopaths. And want to be clear, outside of the entity that's being documented and prosecuted, they murder American citizens that seek to threaten them and this system. All right. This entity has sacrificed itself. And the irony in this is that this entity's criminal conduct, this entity's, as it has through its conduct, through its ongoing targeting me, and I'm representing what our American citizen that is enforcing their rights. So you're aware of how they are operating outside of any sort of evidence of it. And it's even worse than this. They're murdering people for much less than video that's put on the internet. They're murdering people with regard to you're stating something that's making them feel like you think that you're somebody to enforce your rights. Like the gang stalkers of the Ontario Police Department, they commit murder for much less, okay? And this is based on an ego, a high ego combined with what is a low ability to engage in this in any manner whatsoever that nobody can recognize, as I've removed all the illusions, including the illusion that they're sane. They're not. Okay, but the entities engaging in this pattern of conduct, and they have ironically brought upon themselves what is establishing a precedent to enforce martial law, where you will not be able to engage in any of this anymore. They're actually freely moving around, engaging in criminal activity, and they're foolishly doing it in front of everyone. And they have established, they being the demon-possessed, they being this corrupt entity, they being the state of California, have established the threat that they pose and the necessity for it. This is what the demon-possessed are also failing to recognize, because these are demons that they're not thinking. They're just stalking. And then they react again with their twisted, psychologically they are diseased. Okay, they're diseased in their mind. And so their sick minds operate and react immediately and engage in more of the same. And you are sitting back and analyzing and witnessing. This is an entity that's going to be treated under martial law. Okay, the inability to engage in this, and there's so much that you've established as about yourself as a people when you're engaging in this conduct, and the ways in which they're doing so. The demon-possessed that are gang stalkers, the demon-possessed that are gang stalking in order to murder people, the demon-possessed that are engaging in criminal conduct, maintaining an illusion of privacy, and so the P.O.C. is appearing as on the news as some sort of fraud that has to be investigated, some sort of criminal act against an American citizen that they're not sure of their identity, and they have to look into it, and it's all an illusion. It's criminal surveillance. They know exactly who committed the crime. They know what the substance of the crime is. They even know what the reason is. This is relevant to what is an ongoing system of witchcraft, where they're sacrificing people and they're maintaining that level of secrecy at the same time. This is an entity that is very much a threat to national security, and California has established that it is very much in need of martial law, and that is nothing that I am excited about. But this is the reality, because this is the inevitable conclusion based on where the facts lead, and that's how you conduct any investigation, okay? And this is with regard to the times that we're in. This is a level of lawlessness that has to be contained. And you're talking about lawlessness by those that are in positions where they should have been enforcing the law, not breaking the law, facilitating lawlessness and incentivizing it. That's where you're getting to. This is requiring martial law. Absolutely. That's the reality of the situation, though, and I'm just, like I stated, I'm just doing my job, exposing what the problem is. I am speaking to what the solutions are, and what is the inevitable conclusion. It's going to be martial law. You can't avoid that based on what this is, and based on what they've done, and based on the demon-possessed, their refusal to, that refusal, that's not just something that you're looking at, oh, we're just going to give them more time in prison. No, that refusal is informing you about a lawlessness, a level of disregard, a refusal to comply with what you are, when you are exposed as engaging in this. What is your response? Okay, so that means that is requiring the federal law to lean in more with regard to more force, with regard to more restriction based on those that insist on doing things such as serial killings, such as, criminal conduct, all the ways in which the demon-possessed, this entity is engaged in targeting people. And their delusion is going to cause them to wake up to things such as martial law. Okay, you behave as barbarians, you're going to be treated accordingly. And that's just, I'm just giving what is the answer, okay? To 2 + 2. That's it. That's all. I'm not the one that's out. I didn't create the gang stalking. They were gang stalking me. Okay, I didn't create the problem. They are the problem, and they brought the problem to me. I did not start it. However, I am completing it, and I'm also letting you know what is the inevitable conclusion. This is not my decision. This is actually the decision of a lawless people. All right, and this is something that is inevitable, and it's also not a surprise with regard to history, with regard to what the inevitable ongoing progression of times. This is just where this is going, and it is absolutely inevitable. And like I say that because that's where the facts. You have to go where the facts lead you. You don't lead and with your own bias. You go where the facts lead you. And not only that, I still knowing I studied the law, I studied politics, and martial law is the most extreme. And it's not something that you are welcoming because you're talking about, but these are demons who have exploited constitutional rights, who have exploited that which they don't even enjoy in the shoes of the government. So those like myself who do enjoy my constitutional rights, I'm not exploiting them. I'm not abusing them. I do remain someone that is entitled to the full benefits of what those documents, state and federal, provide. But however, there's a stark contrast to the terrorists that are exploiting those constitutional rights, and they absolutely require martial law. So that's why I'm stating it affects everyone. All right. And there's an unfortunate, aspect to that. But it is absolutely necessary based on the point that we are at as a country. I'll say that because there's also a line. This is un-American. These are not the American people. They're in the United States posing. OK, and they're doing so to, from the inside out, destroy this country and destroy the fabric of this country. So I just want to be clear because I wanted to say that we, the American people, but the gang stalkers, they're not American people. This is totally un-American. Okay, so I just want to be clear on that. There are people that are listening to me outside of the United States, and there is, just like you cannot categorize, and I understand why you would, because you're talking about coming from a country, and so that's all you know about that country, if that's all you've been exposed to. But the reality is that you cannot categorize everybody in one country as the same. I represent the minority, and it's not because I'm a black woman. I represent the minority because I've shown the majority are not the white race. The majority are those that are spiritually in darkness. They're the demon possessed, and they are the average person that you are coming across. However, we do not all identify in that manner, and they do not represent what the United States is actually about. They do not represent the quote-unquote American people. Okay, but you have what is the majority, all right, that are engaging in this conduct. So it's actually not inaccurate to make what is the average characterization of the American citizen as one that is the barbarian, because this is what is out here representing this country. But I am one that is a minority. I don't fit that ratio, and I'm not speaking for myself. There are exceptions in this country, and we are far and few in between. But what this is not representative of what fills this country. I'll say that. Okay, so that's what I mean to say that, and it's the same thing with regard to try to categorize people in a race, stereotyping them. That's absolutely ignorant to do. But that is serving what is the illusion of this corrupt system, by the way, to categorize and stereotype black people, for example. For you to judge me on paper, you would have a hard time believing that I am a white woman. Excuse me, you would believe that I'm perhaps a white woman as opposed to a black woman. But that's when they get into the stereotypes of criminally defaming me in order to try to defame my character. That's where the criminal defamation comes in, to make me appear on paper the way in which I am supposed to appear based on stereotypes that are intentionally perpetuated in order to make me appear on paper the way that I appear in person. Okay, if you subscribe to those stereotypes of what a black woman is, what a black woman necessarily is conducting and living her life like, and that's a lie out of the pit of hell. And it is serving Satan's system, which is relevant to what is this surveillance system. And with this surveillance system, they need these stereotypes. They need these ways of separating people in groups. They need that in order to operate this, in order to perpetuate it, in order to maintain it. Okay, when you have an anomaly like myself, and you can't put me in a bubble, you literally cannot stereotype me in any regard. I don't fit that mold. Okay, so, and I mean that in every regard, actually. So with that, I do represent a threat just in that way, because I don't fit into this system. Not only that, I am literally not a demon-possessed person, and I would never, under any circumstances, target someone. I don't care if you threaten my life. I would do just exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to do what the right thing is, regardless of how many people are coming against me. Because, and the other part is that you're not coming against me, you're coming against my Heavenly Father. And you're all witnessing that. You're all witnessing Christ Jesus make himself known. And you're going to see that it's not a numbers game. And it doesn't matter how many that there are, they will all fall to the side. All of them. All of them. It's not a numbers game. So the entity is engaging in that, and the entity is representing what is the enemy of this country, requiring what is now martial law based on the lawlessness that this entity has engaged in. And it's not a matter of rumors and hearsay. It's a matter of my documentation. And my documentation is going above and beyond me merely enforcing my rights, as establishing what needs to happen in the state based on terrorism. The entity has done so much to itself while they sought to target me. They've exposed a whole problem, a bigger problem than this is not just stalking, it's terrorism, it's gang violence. And I've shown it's outside of just the Ontario Village Shopping Center, it's in the city, it's in the county, it's in the region, it's in the state. It's in the next adjacent state. It's throughout the country. What do you do about this? These are the implications regarding the P.O.C. And it requires a response, a federal response. And this is the level to which the entity has, quote unquote, manifested. They've manifested their own serious military policing, martial law. It's absolutely necessary because of the level of mental instability, because of the level of corruption, because of the level of lawlessness, because of the level of disregard and the refusal, all right, to cease to engage in that, which they could have reflected throughout my documentation. They could have witnessed that, but that's not what they did. And make sure you pay attention to that, because it's about protecting American citizens who are in my position that are not they're not in a position, first of all, to do what it is that I've done, and they are not in any sort of position to advocate on their behalf or for other people, for that matter, for whatever reasons. They've got a whole bunch of kids. They've got a lot of responsibilities. They're in a position where they can't. They're already locked up, living as a vegetable. They've already been kidnapped. They're 6 feet under. They're already dead. How about that? They are American citizens that are in need of what it is the P.O.C. provides, speaking for those that cannot speak for themselves. This is not just about me, and I'm getting all of my rights enforced. I mean, everything that was stolen with interest, okay? And that includes time. I'm going to prosecute you for the time that you engaged in this. But not only that, this is for other people who have been targeted while the terrorists in this country exploit the Constitution, who do not represent the American people, who are in need of martial law, which is going to have an inevitable impact on those like myself, who do not need to be treated like animals. All right, but this is a multifaceted, complex issue, which the federal government is fully capable of, and I'm not talking about the corrupt, I'm talking about those who are competent, those who have not been bought, those who cannot be compromised, okay? That's who I'm talking to, and I know that you're out there because the Lord had me create this for a reason. I know that you're out there. So this is speaking to what is a layered issue. Okay, and so it is, and I'm sure that you're aware of that. So that's what I'm stating. I'm showing all of the sides, all of the angles of that, because there are people like me out there that are, and yes, they are far and few in between, because you've seen what the majority is. This is the majority. I am the targeted individual in the state of California, and there are other exceptions like me throughout the country, and they are far and few in between. And I said exactly what I said. Okay, it is currently 8:15 a.m. and it is Wednesday, January 7, 2026. This is stalking.
And mental illness is simultaneously exposed while the entity is engaging in this conduct. This is what they do against American citizens, relevant to psychological torture, because you're not supposed to be able to tell and prove or report to anybody that a whole airport is stalking or a police department is stalking you, amongst everybody that's in that environment also stalking you. P.O.C. That's not a takeoff or a landing. You're just engaging in what is irrelevant positioning. You're doing so under the fake sun that is over me at the Stater Brothers, where Engineer Light is inside of that store. It's 8:42 a.m. The entity is keeping the fake sun over the bus stop at 537 North Euclid Avenue, where those demons are stalking with impossible light. Okay, this is P.O.C. This is speaking to corruption. This is a psychopath right here. And you can assess mental illness and convict for criminal activity, which is within nobody's imagination. EH91P43, this is P.O.C., and this represents an entity. 646 West Holt Boulevard. This is underneath the covering of the wall. Inexplicable light, and it's relevant to what is Engineer Light that 7UVT225 is driving in criminal presence and activity creation and furtherance of my murder, keeping me under surveillance with the government that is stalking in commercial planes. This is P.O.C. This is massive surveillance. Omnitrans, they're gang stalking, okay? That's the pattern of conduct, and the evidence already shows the fake sun is over here, over me in this same location.
where Garda World's gang stalking under the 3 p.m. fake sun, okay? Where the Ontario International Airport is gang stalking, and doing so while I'm capturing the fake sun in the middle of the afternoon into the evening, where Starbucks, which is right here across the street, right here, an eye shot, okay, with an eye shot, and the fake sun is setting through the window of that Starbucks after 7 p.m. 7 BNF 140 crosses path with audible activity. They're co-defendants. They're gang stalking. These are demons. And they do this to murder people. That's not sunlight. And it's also indicative of mental illness. 9BOH 814. P.O.C. And they go home to kids. They go home to spouses that they also murder. Okay? Lacking a criminal record, giving you any indication. But this is the indication. This is your warning. This is the demon possessed. And this is gang stalking. And it's un-American criminal conduct. It's terrorism. And this is the prosecution, the criminalization of this demonic activity. This is P.O.C. It's currently 8:44 a.m. This is the ongoing exhibit of severe mental instability, not only by stalking, but stalking under things like a fake sun. This is stalking with light certifiable conduct. This is the ability to diagnose the criminal that is stalking, which is not only Southwest, but the demon-possessed person that is flying that plane. Stalking at 3:01. Alrighty, it is 10:10 a.m. and it is still Wednesday, January 7, 2026. And what you'll see in the documentation, I'm showing you the entity that is literally stalking from place to place. Criminal activity and government conduct and behavior of a people that is so unbelievable. And the maintenance of an environment that is unheard of and unbelievable, but for what I knew at the outset, that it has to be documented in order to prove it to the masses. And so this is what I've done. And so this documentation of the P.O.C. is showing how an entity is stalking me from place to place, stalking me at nightfall where I'm sleeping outside, where a population is engaging in criminal surveillance in front of the whole world. And they're doing so with knowledge that it is being documented, which is relevant to your understanding the threat that's posed to you, while they are engaging what is keeping you under surveillance, which you are no longer ignorant of, while the entity is gang stalking me, and I'm documenting it, publishing it, and they engage in that P.O.C. It's informing what you're subject to as well. The entity is engaged in what is bathroom monitoring. So the OVITT Family Community Library at 215 E.C. Street, fake sun follows me to this destination. It is a facilitating venue where the city of Ontario is keeping my vagina under surveillance, and Satan follows me right into the bathroom, okay? This is the entity that's engaged in that. I'm in operation of my device as I'm walking in, meaning I'm listening to music, and as I go toward the restroom, I turn off my music. That's operation of my device. So the entity is engaged in what is entering into that private space, which is, again, where engineer light is inside. I've already shown the crime scene inside of that bathroom. And you are aware of the fact the entity that is gang stalking is demon-possessed, and that is terrorism, while a psychopath that is demon-possessed is stalking you and doing so in a bathroom. And that's what's lurking in, coming into the bathroom. And doing so, I just want to be clear, just as a matter of what is just reasonably assessing the facts here, these are people that are stalking me while I am in a homeless state. So you're coming from wherever you live at the moment that the library opens and going straight into the bathroom. Not only that, okay, most people are not doing that. I'm coming from my apartment when I'm in law school and I'm going to the law library. I'm not going straight to the bathroom when I come from home to the library to study for the day. I'm coming with my kids. We've already taken all the kids to the potty before we get in the vehicle and go for our destination for the day. I'm engaging what is going to the bathroom. Not only that, I'm going to the first floor bathroom. That's speaking to a familiarity with the venue. I'm just giving common sense aspects regarding the entity that's under all circumstances, because even if it's an employee, even if it's somebody that is homeless like me, they're gang stalking. All right, but I just want to point out those additional factors while the entity is targeting me and doing so in a private space, and you're doing so when the library opens. The first thing you do is go into the restroom on the first floor where you're aware that restroom is at, and they're in the library pacing like psychopaths. It's not funny, it's pathetic. But the entity is engaging in that while they're doing so under that fake sun. And so this is the entity that is indeed obsessed and is also delusional with regard to nothing other than horrible consequences for what they are doing in front of everyone, and what they are doing in the way in which they're doing it. They're not only shown to be engaging in the allegations that I made at the outset as of 2018, they're doing it and it's showing the fact that they are indeed mentally ill to a degree that is to be studied and also shared. There are no HIPAA protection with regard to an entity that is mentally ill engaging in what is public corruption. Okay, so good morning, Alexander.
Good morning.
How are you?
You're doing good.
Good, good, good. Hi, Natasha. So the entity that's engaging in this is pacing, all right? They're walking across the floor where I'm in the computer labs. They're engaged in surveillance, sitting all around. They're walking in and out of the entrance. They're walking up and down the stairs. They're walking to and from the Beverly Clearly Young readers room. They're walking in and out of the administration door. As you can hear in the background, they're pacing all around. This is mentally ill demons who are gang stalking, all right? So this is the P.O.C, and they're engaging in what is pacing in the bathroom, monitoring my devices and monitoring my vagina, all right? That's the entity that's stalking in planes, and that's how the entity that is indeed stalking as an airport is keeping my vagina under surveillance as well. Just want to point all of that out. It is 10:14 a.m. and Alexander is engaged in vagina monitoring, doing so as a facilitating venue. Every employee is engaging in that, and they will be prosecuted regarding the kidnappings that they've committed. This is P.O.C. It's 10:14 a.m. Are you guys with Oak Park or?
Yes, Oak Park.
Oh, Oak Park. Okay. Bringing in your clients to use the computers today. Is that what you guys do?
No.
Right. And that is administration, pacing in and out. Just want to be clear regarding the illusion of mental illness amongst the Oak Park clients and the demon-possessed gang stalkers who bring in the mentally incapacitated who are not driving here. They're being driven here to be subject to abuse while they're engaging in surveillance with the state. And this is what the state wants you to look at while they're engaging in the pattern of conduct.
So what do you want to look?
All right, they're going to be prosecuted for abuse under the Welfare and Institutions Code, and they are subject to federal prison. Just want to be clear on that. The entity is doing so in a specific environment with knowledge of the documentation, and the way in which you want to present your engagement in the pattern of conduct is being noted here. It's being noted here, and this is abuse just like it is with children. Just want to make sure that that is clear. They're engaged in the same psychopathic pacing while those who are mentally incapacitated just sit there at the computer. They've been placed there. It's a means of facilitation, and I just want to be clear. There's an illusion regarding mental illness here. The psychopaths are equally deranged with regard to the mental illness behind the pattern of conduct and placing those that are at an inability to, for example, control their mental faculties. There are different breeds of mental illness, if you will. The mentally ill that are demon-possessed gang stalkers are psychopathic and antisocial and are unfit to be in the medical field. And as the abuse that they're engaging in, like Oak Park and ANTHESIS exhibit, they're engaging in criminal activity with those that they are in a position to take care of, and they're actually abusing them. While you're gang stalking with them, you will be prosecuted for engaging in abuse. And so that's why I wanted to document that. The entity is pacing all around while placing the quote-unquote mentally ill. I just want to be clear, you've been conditioned to accept mental illness in a specific type of form, appearance, behavior. The demon-possessed that are gang stalking wanting to present as sane, even law-abiding citizen, normal, like you and I. I'm not talking to the demons that are being delusional. I'm talking to those that have been called to receive this message, who are learning. They are mentally ill. Okay, the demons that are stalking me in commercial planes and helicopters, the demons that are stalking as a government agency, the demons that are stalking under a fake sun, chasing me around, the demons that are walking into the bathroom to engage in what is monitoring a woman, they are mentally ill, and they are in positions where they seek to present as being sane, and they're in positions that they are abusing, bringing the mentally incapacitated to sit in relevant position, maintain activity. And I also want to be clear that the mentally incapacitated are also not exempt from demon possession. So I have documented and been around that where they're engaging, but many of them are also mutes. They can't move, or they have that involuntary movement, which, by the way, is very easily to be mistaken for what is distinct from demon possession. I want to be clear, demon possession is going to manifest in these ways as well. So, like I said, nonetheless, you're going to prosecute the business itself that's engaging in abusing the mentally incapacitated, bringing them to participate in criminal activity, which is abuse, as it's going to be prosecuted under federal law, and it's abuse under the Welfare and Institutions Code, and there is a legal argument under the laws as they exist right now, and that's exactly what's going to happen. All right, it's currently 10:19 a.m. The entity is surrounding me with gang members by facilitation. Okay, and that's because these are clients of OPARC who did not bring themselves here, just like children are. You make them gang members, you're going to prison. You're losing custody of your children. You're going to be prosecuted as an abuser under federal law, and it's the same with those that are bringing their clients to engage in the pattern of conduct with the demon-possessed who are mentally ill, sitting around, pacing around. And you're supposed to be under some illusion that one is mentally ill and the other aren't, and they all are. That's a reality. P.O.C, it's 10:20 a.m.
That wasn't nice though. I wasn't even doing anything. That's why I got out. I wasn't even drunk. I want to get drunk though.
Hi, Alex. Oh boy. Double Dutch amongst demons with knowledge of published documentation. Psychopathic disorders are exposed when the entity engages in this, and it is futile and self-destructive. At 6:11 p.m. is the entity engaging in what is a presence. I think the fake sun is captured 10 a.m. until after 3 p.m. This is speaking to malicious conduct at every end, while the entity seeks to come up with what are altogether monitoring tactics, not creative, desperate. This is the entity that's engaging in that while they're tag teaming, engaging in gang violence. 6:11 p.m. This is P.O.C. These are the demons that are going to be subject to mental asylums and federal prison. P.O.C.